Hi, everyone. I'm Seth Plattner from Elle Magazine. Thank you so much for being here tonight to honor these 6 incredible women for the amazing work that they have done on Netflix's acclaimed hit series, Orange is the New Black. Got Jennifer Euston, casting director, Taylor Schilling, Uzo Aduba, Kate Mulgrew, Laverne Cox, and Danielle Brooks. And ladies, also thank you all for being here tonight. We know that you're incredibly busy, but you know, I think I can safely speak for everybody in the auditorium when I say how obsessed we are with the show. Not only because it's such entertaining TV, but it is evocative and it is challenging and it is smart. And you know, we watch it every single episode and we're asked to think about, you know, race and gender and sexuality and just the basic human condition. So thank you for allowing us to go on that journey with you. And now we're gonna dive into that just a little bit deeper. First, let's talk about the nominations, SAG and Golden Globe. How does it feel? Exciting, yes?
I'm really proud, obviously,
Yeah.
so.
I'm proud too. I think
What else
it's
would
really
you be?
exciting,
Yeah.
you know, and I'm really happy for Taylor and Uzo
Yes.
for their individual nominations.
Yes.
So well deserved.
You know, for me, I when we had our little Emmy run, and I was in LA meeting like all these actors who I've been watching on television like my whole life. Angie Harmon, I was talking to her, and she was like, "I've been doing this 25 years, and I've never been nominated for an Emmy." And I was like, "Oh," and I was thinking how many amazing. But no, I was thinking how many amazing actors out there who do incredible work and never get recognized in ways like this. And so I was sort of like, okay, I should like enjoy this moment and try to make the most of it because it might never happen again. So I am really grateful in the context of like all this wonderful work out there being our show being acknowledged in the way that it is.
Great. Well, obviously, a lot of it comes down to casting. So Jennifer, we're gonna start with you. It's just we
Can
want
we
to get
make some noise for Jen's shoes? I'm living for Jen's
work,
shoes.
right? Work.
I've
Sorry.
been wearing these
Okay,
for like 15 years, but
Well,
this is the first time I let them show.
Still working.
I usually cover them with like bell bottoms, so. But I'm letting my
They're on
freak
fleek
flag
tonight.
fly. Okay.
So let's talk a little bit about the casting of Orange is the
little?
New Black. A lot.
There's a lot of people
There's
on
a
the show.
lot. I mean, but rarely do we get to see such a diverse and captivating group of women on one screen. So what were you looking for when you set out to cast the show?
Everything, actually. Sorry, I'm really nervous, guys. Sorry. So I'm gonna hold this like this until I stop shaking. Okay, so what was I looking for? Well, obviously I get the script and I speak with Genji and I want to fulfill her vision. That's my job as a casting director on anything I work on. And luckily, Genji and I had the same vision, and it was an opportunity for me to cast unknown people mixed with known people, and that's what I love, faces and types and all shapes and sizes, and it was just like a playground for me because I got to do that, because I love that. That's sort of my aesthetic is this show. So it was like a dream come true, actually. And so many actors that I'm so happy you've been able to now see that I've known just from going to the theater or watching a lot of stuff like I do. And people have been giving stories, full stories for a whole season. It's just a development and a character. It's just, it was like a dream come true, honestly. And I'm so lucky that everybody wanted to do it or did it. So, because you have to understand when we started casting this, House of Cards hadn't come out yet. They were shooting it. And so there was no Netflix. There was nothing for me to describe to the agents what this was going to be like. You know, I was like, is this a web series? What are we doing here? So that's what it was. So I had to kind of, you know, talk to all the agents and say, no, this is a TV show, and it's really good, and it's Genji, and it's going to be, I mean, you're going to have, everybody's going to be able to see this. I mean, this is the most amazing part of Netflix is that it's sort of global, right, guys? I mean, like, you guys have been to every country. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm in shock. Like, no movie I've ever worked on has ever gotten this attention. And I, you know, and I luckily have worked on some cool movies, you know, but that a lot of people see, but nobody has seen like this. It's huge. So, did that answer your question? I don't think that answered
totally.
your question.
No, you nailed it. Yeah, no.
Okay.
Yeah, really good, really good. Yeah.
Oh my God. Really? Am I done? Can I go? Okay. Okay, bye. No, okay.
Well, speaking of auditions, Kate, I want to ask you a question. You said that when you first read that you knew this woman already. That she leapt off the page when you were auditioning. So I want to know, what did you mean by that?
That I knew her. I did know her, yes. It's just something. Can you not hear me?
I didn't say anything.
I think you can hear me. Obviously, she resided within me. She came immediately forth with very little provocation. I was given less than a page.
It's true.
And on that page, it was suggested that I was only remotely Russian. But that is not what flew into my imagination or out of my mouth. And she just came, and that was that.
But why did she come out as this?
Because I have lived a long life.
Fair enough.
And I feel her.
Jennifer, what were some of the other surprises that happened in casting? Was there anybody that came in for a role and left with having you thinking them as for an entirely different role?
Well, it was interesting when we were casting because I didn't have all the roles. You have to understand, I didn't have a lot. I had the pilot script, which only gave you like tiny little slivers of each of these characters. And that's what I read people with. And that was, a challenge because I know what people can do because I've seen them in plays or I've known them for 20 years. But to show the producers and Genji and Netflix and everybody how amazing they are, it's tough when you don't have a lot of material. But the great thing is Genji is so amazing watching auditions. And like, for instance, when Uzo came in for Janae, okay, and she came in, she looked awesome. She had the knots, tank top, and she read for Janae. And Genji immediately was like, she's Crazy Eyes. And I said, who's Crazy Eyes? And so that's how Uzo got that part.
Uzo, how'd you feel about that?
Ask me in 10 years.
I mean, it worked out.
She just knew how good she was, and she had this potential. That's the beauty of Genji, and there's so much greatness to her. But she can watch. She has such fine taste, and she can watch just a little bit of somebody and get it, And that's rare. I have to say, that's very rare. You have to be very smart, very secure, So I mean, that happened to with a lot of the characters actually. I mean, well, Taylor read for Piper, obviously. Uzo, you read for, and Laverne read for hers, and Danielle, you came in for Tasty. Yeah, all of them, except for Uzo, came in for the parts that they got. All of them. They got the parts that they read for, but yeah, I mean, she did that with a couple characters. We had that, Natasha came in for a different role. I'm trying to think. So it's almost like
Leah Delaria always tells the story of how she came in for several roles, apparently.
She came in for something originally, but then she was like this big boo. It was just Genji being amazing,
Mm-hmm.
So I basically, what I did was, because I didn't have all the meat of the story, because I didn't have any scripts, any further scripts, I just brought in the actors I loved, the actors I knew, that I could trust, and that I knew, like, even if they read 3 lines, they could be a series regular. And that's sort of how my associate Emer and I did the pilot. So,
Great.
yeah.
Laverne, question for you. Can you just talk a little bit about how this show has paved the way for more complicated and diverse and interesting and well-rounded versions of women in the world?
That's very, very heavy, Seth. The way I would answer that is to think about other roles, particularly, I mean, as a transgender woman. A lot of what's been so wonderful on so many different levels about being an actress who is transgender, who's playing a transgender character, is that her transness is certainly acknowledged in the script and by the other inmates, but she's also a woman, and her womanhood is foregrounded, and that's beautiful. And so there's that piece, and then there's the nature of so often as an actor, I've noticed who's transgender, there's so often some of the really complicated, juicy trans roles don't always go to trans actors. They go to trans actors who are not trans. And I'm like, oh God, that's so good. I would love to play that. And so I feel really lucky that this juiciness that I've gone to play, you know, I think it's made such a huge difference for viewers to not only be able to empathize with this character who is trans, but in the actress who is playing her. And that has certainly changed my life. And I've been told by a lot of folks who I've met as I travel the country that it's also changed their lives. And it also seems, too, that I don't know if this show is influencing other networks to have more trans characters and with the success of Transparent on Amazon, for example, or there's a CW show that's being developed. There's a docuseries on Discovery Family or something about trans folks. VH1 is doing something. So there's all of this trans stuff that's coming down the pike, right?
And your show.
And I did a little. It was a special on MTV that aired back in October. Laverne Cox presents The T Word. That probably wouldn't have gotten greenlit because we've been pitching shows for about 7 years about transgender people, and all of a sudden, Orange Is the New Black is a hit, and our show, and our little special finally gets the green light from a network. So. It's been awesome for me. I mean, and I think it's been awesome for the trans community too. And I think just for women, what's been wonderful is meeting young women and older women of all ages actually, all over the country, who have said that like having this Sophia in their living rooms and on their computers and iPads has like changed their ideas of what it means to be a woman and helped them to accept their own womanhood more, whether they're trans or not. And that's pretty. That's heavy. That's heavy.
Well, as for the rest of you, yeah. As for all the other women on the panel, do you stay conscious of what you are doing for roles for women, representations of women, as you are creating the show through your characters?
Well, I mean, I think one thing that is really interesting about doing a piece that has had this cultural and political and just such a social impact is that it's really, what's been interesting in my experience is that I come at it telling a story, the story that I get in the script. You know, my piece of it is not, as soon as I get a third eye that's sort of thinking about like the commentary or how this will have a political impact or what the social connotations, that I sort of like, that's not my side of the street. You know what I mean? So it's an interesting piece because it's incredibly important. And as Taylor, I find that so sweet and it's just so delicious to be in something that feels so creatively satisfying and is also having, I believe in it. I believe in it, the impact it's having in the world. But that doesn't really come into play in playing Piper.
Well, can I ask you about Piper in this last season?
Yes.
Because this second season, I think, dealt really heavily with sort of the types of loss that people face in the world, and then also how those losses could be exacerbated by the inmate's circumstances in Litchfield. So how did you, as an actress, access that kind of emotion to bring into Piper? To get to like this degree of loss, I think that everybody was facing in, not only as women in the world, but women in prison. And specifically, I guess, with Piper, how as an actress did you get there? What was your process?
I mean, I think that it starts with amazing writing, and I think it starts with really clear writing, and Genji has created a character for me that has such clear emotional logic, and then, and I can I sort of strap into the story and strap in to where we're going. Oh, God.
I didn't want to say anything.
All good.
Oopsie.
At least you didn't say strap on.
Strap it.
I said it, it's done.
good.
I mean, what, buckle up, I belt in? Is that better? I climb aboard. All of these feel terrible.
Everybody gets it.
All of these feel like an awful, I dug it so deeply. else? I don't know. But I like, you get on the train.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but I feel like I can really trust and let go into the writing, and I think it starts there, and then, who knows what happens after that.
Well, Danielle, I was going to ask the same from you because Tasty also had, we got really into Tasty's story, and everything with V. So what was it like to kind of bring more of her and her backstory to the forefront?
It was really exciting for me to play someone that's such a three-dimensional character. I feel like Tasty really started out as like the comic relief and was really the light of the prison, and found her way of coping was through laughter. And when V gets there, she can no longer do that. She really has to deal with her stuff. And that was exciting because I just graduated not too long ago from Juilliard, and it was really exciting to step. Thank you.
Juilliard's in the house, apparently.
But to step into that role and take that challenge, especially with Lorraine Toussaint, who is so well cast and is a brilliant actor. And I would say, we joked about this today with Uzo. I used to, when she came on set, I would call her, it felt like we were doing an Oprah masterclass, but like a Lorraine masterclass every time that we were on set working with her. So it's really been a learning process for me. And I'm just very thankful that, if the world is going to see me act, that's the goal, right? It's a character like this for my first major breakout role. I'm grateful for that.
Uzo, our Emmy winner, up here. Can you, yeah, right? Yeah. Can you kind of just sum up what has this last year been like for you, with the way that the public has really taken to your character? What has it been like to be so received by your peers in the industry?
I think the feeling supremely is one of gratitude, first and foremost. For people just choosing to watch our show, because there are how many hours of television on TV every single day, and people choose to watch 13 of them that were related to the work that we do. So supremely, more than anything, I think I feel grateful on so many levels, starting first from there. I feel a level of gratitude that I don't think I'll ever really be able to put into words for the experience that I get to have every day that I go to work with these amazing women, our phenomenal crew, our incredible writers, and all of the people who have put so much as a pinky finger on Orange is the New Black. Because, here's the thing, it's like, I'm totally grateful and I'm thankful for the honor, but it's like, what I know for sure is that this does not happen alone. Like, our creation, the thing that you all get to see and watch every single, well, not every night because it's like, doesn't come on weekly, but you know what I mean. Like, it's just such a team effort, and I live for collaboration, and I love making things together and building things together, and I feel like I've been touched on so many different waves of my life as an actor, being able to tell a story, but then even on a higher level, just the friends and the family that I've made within this show. Like, that's just like amazing to me, and I've just been really glad that the show's been received in the way that it's been received, that our council, our tribe of actors in the community, be them New York or Los Angeles or Chicago or DC or Atlanta or here in the New School, you know what I mean? That everyone has really, and even those who don't belong to that tribe, but who have really been willing to welcome us into their homes and receive a show such as this. Mm-hmm. That's been amazing to me, just to see that happen. It makes me feel hopeful. It makes me feel that, like breath, you know?
Yeah.
And it makes me feel grateful.
So I have this question. We also had this question a lot in the audience about what it can take for you all physically to become your characters, not just, you know, from the hair and the makeup and the inmates, but what does it mean to sort of sit down and get ready and to, you know, get the hairstyles done for like Red and Uzo, or to, you know, like with Sophia to get dolled up and ready, or for Tasty to get the hair. Like, what is that process like in helping to get into character?
we interestingly, we don't, you know, it's funny, there's projects I've gotten to work on, and some projects where the actors do their own hair and makeup as in character and stuff. We have brilliant hair and makeup folks who get us ready. So I honestly, for me, what's best with most acting jobs, everything's different though, but for this, even though Sophia is probably one of the more glamorous prisoners,
Not the most glamorous.
I'm very hands off for the most part, believe it or not. I mean, for me, I guess. I'm hands off for me, so that I really don't think too much about how I look. It's really about how the jumpsuit makes me, the fatigues make me feel. The boots are really crucial for me. So it's really about like, taking in the sensory stuff around me, and it's not about, it's really, what's wonderful for me, even though she does have her, you know, her sense of glamour, that is what she needs for herself as someone who is incarcerated, trying to maintain and hold on to her sense of self. She has, you know, made sure that she would get some cosmetics from commissary, that when she does hair, that people are giving her, you know, cosmetics in exchange for her services, so that she can maintain a sense of who she is on a deep level. So that's really what it's about. How does she maintain a sense of who she is in these very challenging circumstances? That's always the getting ready for me.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm going to borrow from Natasha Lyonne, who made a comment that I think was so really spot on about the look of the show, the physical aesthetic, that I think is just really interesting. Because, so when I got Orange, it was like, this is my first, you know, TV show, so I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna get hair and makeup. This is like really excited. And then it was like, so we think we're gonna just put some like black eyeshadow around your eyes to make them like look. I was like, okay, but like the real truth was, you know, Natasha said something really powerful that resonated with me. That she said, you know, this opportunity to sort of take everything away, and I mean, there are people who absolutely, like, I'm in line with what Laverne just said, and with regards to Sophia, that is a major contributor to who she is, you know, and what her story is, you know, and I think there was just something interesting about how everybody kind of gets stripped down, because that is, in fact, what does happen when you enter into this particular circumstance, and what that sort of relationship is as women on camera, what that relationship is with the women telling this particular story, I think has been very interesting and informative, and not one that I was aware of prior, how few examples existed in that way.
Yeah, it leaves room for us to play and tell the story, and for it to be about the scene and the work. That's what you just said. But it's a really exciting way to be at work, I think. It's very, I've never really had an experience like this.
Jennifer, I want to ask you a question. As we are moving forward into more seasons of Orange is the New Black, I want to know if your vision for casting is changing at all, either because of something that you feel you need to bring into the cast, or something that you've observed and learned and been inspired from by these women and other women you've casted. But as you look forward into casting, what are you thinking about?
With this show?
Yes.
Oh, more of the same, I think, because I think it's perfect. So I'm not gonna mess it up. No, it's just, you know, I'm there to service, for lack of a better word, Genji's vision, and like I said, it's mine as well. So we were together in it, which is wonderful. I I want faces. I want to be able to cast faces and different sizes and women and so many women. I mean, it's just been the greatest thing for me. You know, it's not a whole show that's full of guys. No offense, but you know, and just I can do. I mean, I hate to say it, but it's just I have the latitude. I think that's the right word. To do whatever I want. You know, when I have to read a character, it may be described one way, and I'll show people choices of that way, but I might want to try a little something different. You know, and I do, and nobody yells at me, and I don't get in trouble, and that's
Isn't it true Black Cindy was supposed to be white or
Who?
something? Black Cindy.
well, everybody's ethnicities changed from the original script because it's just complicated, but because it's like a likeness to the real people. So we had charts because it got really confusing because names were different. Lots of names were different, so we had a chart saying, okay, this person needs to be that name, you know, and everybody. Do you remember that? Yeah, I was like, okay, so you have to read this with the script because that's not what their names are anymore, and I think originally Red was Greek, right? In the book, I think it's in the book too. Pops, right? And some other people were just different ethnicities. I think Laverne, we were supposed to do Hispanic. Not Laverne, but you know, Sophia, and it just changed. So that changed from the original get-go. I mean,
I feel like I love hearing what you're saying, Jen, because I feel like this is unusual,
It's
right?
so
this
unusual.
Is
I thought I was
very
gonna blow my brains out,
unusual
so.
that there is latitude for casting directors. I mean, I've been trying to do this for a very, very long time, and it's in the niche that I'm in because of my multiple identities that I inhabit, trying to work, and so many people have not been open. And I just love hearing that there is like, not only do you want to think outside the box in terms of casting, but it is allowed. That feels revolutionary to me. That feels
it's
amazing.
Dreamy. Downright dreamy. But no, it is. But again, I have to say that's all Genji and just her trusting me. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. She trusts me, and I was so lucky she trusted me sort of out of the gate. So yeah. So did I answer?
Yeah,
Did I answer the question?
absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. So I want to keep doing what I'm doing because why would you change it? You know?
Right,
You know, don't change if it ain't broke.
I think that.
Fix it.
Oh, sorry. I think that one thing that really resonates with viewers of the show is that the knowledge that outside of the show, you all get along really, really well.
I don't like my castmates. None of them.
Not a one.
Don't touch me.
I mean, you're on each other's Instagrams.
We had like a
and
huge fight earlier. Like, oh my God, it was like almost like hair pulling like they do on the Real Housewives of like blah, blah, blah. Totally kidding.
But I know that for those of you that have worked on shows before, or this is your first, I mean, does this happen a lot in ensemble casting, like this kind of camaraderie, or is this?
I've never had an experience like this that just is so consistent and so all around. I mean, I think that it happens, but it's really fun. It's really nice to like everybody so much. I keep saying like I feel like I found my people. Like I went to college like with I never was in a. Weren't we talking about that?
We were talking about sororities.
I was never in a sorority, and I feel like I finally am now in my own sorority. I
OMB.
find the right people, but I found finally my sorority.
We do.
I think that starts from the top, though. I've been on like in little indie films. Oh my God, how many indie films have I done? Like little indie films where it was a mess, but then the director was a mess. And so I think because Gingy is just like the energy that she and Lisa, of course, bring is just so amazing and supportive and sisterly that like it really is. That's the only time trickle down works. Is on a TV set where it starts at the top. It starts at the top, I think, and it starts with Gingy.
Yeah.
We've only got about 20 minutes left, so I want to get to some audience questions because there were a ton. They said more than they probably ever gotten. But first, everybody wants to know who is everyone's favorite character on the show besides your own. So we'll start with Danielle.
I have too many, really. So I love Crazy Eyes and I love Pennsatucky. But I think, I mean, I love all of them, but I think my favorite is Chang. I think she is amazing. Like, amazing.
Lori Tanchin.
I always say Suzanne, aka Crazy Eyes, for so many different reasons. But again, there's so many. I loved what Lorraine did with V this second season. I just love that character. So I love that character. So it was a toss up for me between Suzanne, aka Crazy Eyes, and V as my faves.
Is this working? It's a diabolical question. And an unfair one.
Blame it on the audience.
Having said that, I will answer it. Some of us are more trained than others. Some of us are more passionate than others. Some of us are more electrifying. Some of us are more genuine. But there's only one, in my book, who's managed to do it all with a kind of nuance and grace and dexterity and subtlety that very few actresses can do. And that's Taylor Schilling.
Aww. Oh. Wow.
Because if you watch, you will note that she is always understated. And she's walking that razor's edge in every scene she plays. Equal comedy and drama, and she never goes over the line. And I find my admiration increasing with every season.
Tissue.
I know.
Follow that.
I know, right? Well, I love my Tay too, obviously. I love my true, and now I feel like I have to say one, but like just one. But like my real true answer is that I love them all, because the thing that I love about it is it's like Kate, I find it an intensely diabolical question, because every single woman has just a scale, a portion on her scale that's just slightly out of weight from the last. And that, to me, is exciting, because even though the same circumstance, in the sense that a crime was and or was not committed to arrive you here, for you to arrive here, excuse me, you're all living under the same particular conditions. And I find it just really interesting to see how each of these women navigate themselves through this sea and through this particular circumstance. So I just find the whole weight really exciting to watch. That also said, I also feel like I very much so enjoy Red a lot. Like I like from point A to now where we've arrived at with point B, the shape of that story and the playing of it, and watching the power and the loss and the climb back again, done with excellence and authority and presence and weight and colors. Has been really thrilling.
I have to say, in a way, almost echoing what I heard Uzo speak of, one of the things that I find so dynamic about watching the show and that I love is to see how everyone is dealing with their circumstances and overcoming whatever it is that's in their path that's brought them to prison and what their particular trajectory is. And seeing everyone in relationship to each other, I think, is what makes these characters, is part of what makes everyone so electrifying and makes it spark so hugely. and that's so exciting to me to watch that, to watch the interplay, because there is such a breadth of experience, and so many women's stories are allowed to be told that seeing them spark off of one another is really fun for me. It's that question almost feels like trying to choose a favorite child. So I don't know. I mean, honestly, I watch our show, and it took me a while to watch the show. I was afraid to watch the show, but when I watch the show, every time I watch a scene, I find myself emailing the person that is in it, just saying, you're my favorite. You're brilliant. I didn't even know you were that. How do I even know you? I think you're extraordinary. And that, I really, I mean, honestly, every person up here, and there are, it's a really difficult question to answer.
Sorry. Kate, this question is for you. You have a very illustrious career behind you. So what has been your greatest challenge as an actress on this show? And was there a specific scene or a moment that pushed you to a place that you'd never been?
Yes. Well, I'm considerably older than the rest of them. This is hard. It's very hard. Hard to recognize that the moment has come when you have to transcend all of that which came before. My beauty, my youth, all of those great young parts that I was given from the time I was 19, and to throw it out the window. So I let go of my vanity, and I let go of my pride, and I embraced a kind of shame and dignity in absolute concert. And I found the real Kate. And that's pretty unsettling, but pretty marvelous at the age of 59.
Yeah.
I love you. I'm so excited. I've been such a fan of hers my whole life. I'm a fan of that's what I am, first and foremost, before anything else. And this woman, I watched on Ryan's Hope. And I watched is Captain Janeway. And I love her. When she wanted to come in for this, or liked it enough to come in for this, I was honored and blessed. And you can ask my associate, I was scared. She's so amazing. I was so intimidated. It's hard to intimidate me, but she blew me away. I was just so happy, and I thank you so much.
Thank you.
No, it was an honor to cast you. I'll start crying. So, thank you.
Well, Jen, we got this question a lot too. What was the hardest role to cast for
Hard.
Orange is the New Black?
This one right here.
Why?
Piper was the hardest. Because there were so many qualities that they needed for this role. First, it was a person that is public. Piper is a public woman. There would be comparisons, not just visually, just in everything. I read everybody for this. I did, and I kept chasing her because when I was in LA, she was in New York, or vice versa, and I hounded Rhonda, her agent, and I would say to my associate every day, "Where's Taylor? Where is she? I need her in here right now," because I wasn't getting anybody. I couldn't nail it, and I just had a feeling. I don't know what it was, but I had a feeling. Hers was the hardest role by far, because you needed to be we had to enter Litchfield with Piper, and you want to love who you're going on this journey with. And Taylor had everything. She just had it all in one package. Some people had this, some people had that, but she had it all. And sorry, I'm embarrassing you.
No, I'm fine. I don't know why I'm being
But it was truly the hardest part to cast, and she nailed it when you came in. She nailed it.
I remember that day. That was fun.
I know we did have fun, didn't we? Yeah. So So that was the hardest part.
Great.
Yeah.
We only have a few more minutes. This room is filled with a lot of performers who, on behalf of them, we want to, again, go down the line and ask for them, what's the best piece of career advice you can give them as actors? Or the best piece of career advice you've
Kate.
ever received. That too.
I want to hear what Kate has to say.
In fact, you don't want to hear it. Because I'm tough about this. Don't do it if you can't live without it. It's a hopeless profession otherwise. It's just a killer. You know, we're always on the bloody trapeze, and we're always falling, and it's terribly, terribly difficult if you're not absolutely desperate to do it, which I was from the time of age of 12, and I still am at this point in my life. So the career advice is simple. Don't bother if you can live without it. Otherwise, it'll kill you.
Anyone else? It's a pretty good note to end on, right?
I think that's it.
I'm only 25. I can't back that up.
Yeah,
Well, ladies, thank you all so much for being here tonight. Let's have a round of applause for this amazing cast. Thank you so much.